There are moments in life when certain people, certain connections, fade from our lives. We might grieve their absence, lament the loss, and eventually, with heavy hearts, try to move forward, convinced that chapter is irrevocably closed. But what if I told you that the people you once believed were gone for good, the connections you mourned and buried, might not be as lost as you think? What if these very individuals, these echoes of a past relationship, begin to resurface in the quiet chambers of your mind, in the sincerity of your prayers, and, most surprisingly, in a newfound sense of peace that transcends understanding? This isn't about holding on to what's gone, desperately clinging to a memory or a wish. This is about something far deeper, far more divine. It's about recognizing the subtle, sacred stirrings that hint at God's unseen hand, orchestrating an unexpected relationship reunion you never dared to hope for. It's a peculiar experience, isn't it? The silence can stretch for months, even years, after a significant loss or separation. It's natural to interpret this stillness as a definitive end, a final curtain call. But in the grand design of God's timing, silence doesn't always signify the end. More often than not, it's a profound period of preparation, a season when He is working meticulously behind the scenes in ways we cannot possibly perceive. This isn't an invitation to chase after someone, to send that hopeful text, or to strategize how to make them miss you. No, this is an invitation to simply notice. To notice when God, in His infinite wisdom and love, begins to consistently place someone back on your heart. Not as a burden of unresolved pain, but as a gentle, persistent whisper, all while you are diligently focused on your own personal healing, spiritual growth, and the sacred act of letting go with peace. If you've found yourself enveloped by a strange, unburdened peace when thoughts of them arise, a tranquility that wasn't there before. If your heart feels softer, more malleable, less guarded than it once was, or if their name or an unexpected memory of them seems to appear in the most unlikely of places, catching you off guard when they were nowhere near your conscious thoughts, then this message is profoundly for you. We are about to delve into 5 quiet, yet powerful, clues that God might be giving you, confirming that He is indeed preparing a divine healing restoration, a reunion you genuinely never anticipated. These are not signs for you to act upon immediately, but rather to observe, to pray over, and to trust in the unwavering process of God's unparalleled timing reunion. The first profound sign that God might be preparing an unexpected relationship reunion in your life is this: you've learned to let go without bitterness. The scriptures remind us in Hebrews 12:14 to pursue peace with all people and holiness, without which no one will see the Lord. To truly let go of someone you once cherished deeply, someone whose presence left an indelible mark on your soul, is one of life's most formidable challenges. It's a journey often fraught with sorrow, confusion, and a lingering ache. But when you arrive at a place where you can release them from your grasp, not with a clenched fist of anger or a heart scarred by resentment, but with an open hand of peace, that, my friend, is a testament to profound spiritual growth and a deep work of divine healing restoration within you. You might not have even fully realized the extent of this healing as it was happening, but God, in His perfect wisdom, orchestrates these quiet transformations. God is intimately concerned with the posture of your heart, especially in how you release others from your emotional grip. When you can unfasten yourself from past hurts with peace, instead of the suffocating weight of pain, it creates a sacred opening. It's a spiritual doorway through which He can begin to work not only within your own heart, but also, in ways you cannot fathom, within theirs. You are no longer tethered by the heavy chains of what transpired. You have, through an act of profound faith, entrusted the entire outcome, the entirety of the narrative, to the Almighty. Sometimes, God will not even begin the subtle preparations for a reunion until your heart has been thoroughly cleansed and healed from the damages of the past. Bitterness acts like a spiritual barrier, a dense fog that obscures your vision and closes off your heart from receiving new blessings or even revisiting old ones in a new light. But peace, true peace, ushers in clarity, discernment, and an expansive space within you for God's will to unfold. It's a beautiful paradox. When peace truly settles into your soul, you may find that the intense desire for a reunion, the burning need for reconciliation, has softened or even dissipated. And precisely at that moment, when your grip has loosened, when your heart is no longer holding on with raw, volatile emotion, but instead resting in the tranquil assurance of God's perfect will, whether that will brings them back or not. That is when God often begins to shift things. He doesn't solely consider your fervent prayers for reconciliation. He also meticulously observes the posture of your heart. Have you truly surrendered it all to Him? Or are you, consciously or unconsciously, clinging to the pain, the anger, the what-ifs, even as you ask Him to intervene? When your prayers evolve from a desperate plea for a specific outcome to a profound yearning for peace, His peace, above all else, then God knows you are truly ready. You have matured to a place where your heart no longer seeks revenge, validation, or vindication, but simply truth, healing, and the beautiful unfolding of His divine plan. When you've achieved this kind of letting go, without the gnawing need for closure, without the lingering desire for arguments, explanations, or justifications, you are in the optimal spiritual position for God to surprise you in magnificent ways. Reunions that emerge from this place of peace feel fundamentally different. They are not fueled by fleeting emotions or the volatile impulses of the past, but by a newfound maturity, a profound understanding of self, and an unwavering trust in God. And when God is orchestrating such a reunion, it is never rushed, never forced, but always unfolds in His perfect timing. That kind of profound letting go, that true surrender, is the very invitation that calls forth the kind of unexpected relationship reunion and divine healing restoration that utterly transcends your wildest dreams. It's a reunion built on a foundation of grace, forgiveness, and the transforming power of God's love, a testament to overcoming bitterness and embracing letting go with peace. The second powerful indicator that God is working towards an unexpected relationship reunion for you is a recurring theme of patience in your spiritual life. The psalmist, in Psalm 37:7, wisely advises us, "Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for Him. Do not fret because of him who prospers in his way, because of the man who brings wicked schemes to pass." If you've found yourself consistently receiving messages about patience, whether through sermons, devotionals, wise counsel from friends, or even an internal divine prompting, it is usually a profound sign that something significant is actively developing in the unseen, in the silence. You may not perceive any visible movement, any tangible progress, but patience is God's direct invitation for you to trust implicitly in His unseen, powerful work. He does not ask you to wait simply for the sake of time passing. He asks you to wait because the precise, perfect moment is approaching, and He desires for you not to miss it by rushing ahead or giving up prematurely. In these quiet seasons, it's all too easy to be tempted to abandon hope, to surrender to the idea that nothing will ever change, or to simply move on because the stillness feels deafening, almost like an absence. But stillness, in God's economy, does not signify inertia. It often signifies intense activity. You cannot begin to fathom the intricate ways God might be engaging with the other person's heart, subtly shifting their mindset, rearranging circumstances, or meticulously preparing the entire situation for perfect alignment. Patience, therefore, does not equate to being stuck or stagnant. On the contrary, it means you are being divinely positioned, calibrated correctly, for the next phase of God's plan. God meticulously teaches us patience because He desires for our hearts to be not merely ready for an answer, but specifically for His answer, which often far exceeds our limited expectations. Reunions that are forced, that happen prematurely, or that are orchestrated by human striving rather than divine timing, frequently bring with them a resurgence of old confusion, old wounds, and unresolved pain. They lack the foundational strength to endure. But when you have faithfully waited on God, when you have diligently embraced patience in God's plan, you will receive an unmistakable peace that serves as a profound confirmation that your waiting was not in vain. You will know, deep in your spirit, that the timing is purely from Him, because everything will feel settled, harmonious, and natural, devoid of any sense of being forced or manipulated. When God impresses upon you the necessity of patience, understand that He is simultaneously working on the other side of the equation. You are not the sole individual being prepared. He may be aligning your future with someone else's journey of healing, growth, and spiritual transformation. That kind of precise, divine timing cannot be rushed, but it can, and absolutely must, be trusted. It is precisely through this patient surrender that God orchestrates and brings about the unexpected relationship reunion that once seemed utterly impossible, a true manifestation of His glorious plan for relationships. The third profound sign that God is preparing you for an unexpected relationship reunion is a noticeable and sustained period of learning more about yourself. As the Apostle Paul exhorts in 2 Corinthians 13:5, examine yourselves as to whether you are in the faith. Test yourselves. Do you not know yourselves that Jesus Christ is in you? Unless indeed you are disqualified. Growth, particularly the most transformative kind, frequently occurs during quiet, often solitary seasons. You may have keenly observed lately that you are gaining deeper insights into who you truly are, what your core needs genuinely are, and what truly brings you fulfillment. When God sets about preparing a reunion, He invariably begins with you, with your heart, with your very being. This period of separation, though undoubtedly painful, is not a punishment. Instead, it is a sacred season during which you are being profoundly transformed and refined. God desires for you to evolve into a person capable of loving deeply, authentically, and wholeheartedly, without the tragic consequence of losing your own identity or sense of self in the process. Your self-awareness is expanding not by accident, but because God is lovingly illuminating those aspects of your being that require healing, that need His abundant grace, and that yearn for His divine wisdom. You may not even consciously realize it, but you've begun to establish healthier boundaries, to recognize and affirm your inherent worth, and to compassionately release old habits or patterns that no longer serve your highest good. This remarkable internal change is far from random. It is meticulous, divine preparation. God is patiently teaching you how to walk in love, grounded in truth, rather than being swept away by the transient tides of emotion. When you become more deeply rooted and grounded in who you are in Christ, you naturally cease looking for another person to complete you, to fill a void only God can truly satisfy. You come to the profound realization that genuine, healthy love should always add to your life, enriching and expanding it, never draining or diminishing your spirit. God often orchestrates reunions when both hearts involved are stable, resilient, and when both individuals have undergone significant emotional and spiritual growth. This ensures that the restored connection is built on a foundation strong enough to withstand the inevitable challenges of life, a connection designed to last. Learning more about yourself, truly understanding your worth and your needs, is irrefutable proof that God has not forgotten your heartfelt desires. On the contrary, He is meticulously shaping and preparing you to receive them well, to steward them with wisdom and grace. This profound internal work makes you exponentially more ready for the unexpected blessing He intends to bring. And the truly beautiful aspect of this divine process is that while you have been diligently growing and transforming, God may very well have been doing the exact same miraculous work within them. This reciprocal growth is precisely the kind of foundation upon which a lasting, deeply meaningful, unexpected relationship reunion is built, a testament to spiritual growth in relationships and the profound process of divine healing restoration. The fourth powerful sign that God is indeed working behind the scenes for an unexpected relationship reunion is when you find yourself no longer trying to force the outcome. The wisdom of Proverbs 16:3 reminds us, "Commit your way to the Lord, trust also in Him, and He shall bring it to pass." There comes a pivotal moment in the journey of surrender when you consciously, deliberately, and with profound faith, stop attempting to control precisely how or when things might eventually come back together. It is at that precise juncture, when your hands are metaphorically lifted from the situation, that God truly begins to move in His own majestic and unhindered way. Letting go of control does not equate to giving up hope or resigning yourself to an undesirable fate. On the contrary, it signifies an act of immense trust, a deep spiritual maturity, and an emotional growth that God profoundly honors. It is a declaration of faith that says, "I surrender this to you, Lord, because your ways are higher than my ways, and your thoughts are far beyond my thoughts." You will notice a distinct shift within yourself. The persistent urge to send that carefully worded message, to strategically ensure you get noticed, or to subtly drop hints about your current life or feelings, will simply dissipate. The profound rest you begin to feel in your spirit is an unmistakable signal that your soul has truly surrendered. Trust, in its purest form, creates the essential space, the sacred void, for God to operate without the interference of your anxious striving or human manipulation. When God Himself orchestrates something, it does not require clever schemes, cunning tactics, or desperate manipulation. Instead, it flows with an undeniable sense of peace, a divine fluidity that confirms its origin. Sometimes, the only thing standing as a formidable barrier between you and a God-ordained reunion, an unexpected relationship reunion, is your relentless and often desperate need to make it happen, to force it into existence on your own terms and timeline. But when you finally release the rigid timeline you had in mind, the specific outcome you've clung to, and all your preconceived expectations, that is when you will begin to perceive the subtle, yet powerful, signs that God is indeed restoring what you, in an act of profound faith, laid down at His feet. True trust does not demand a detailed blueprint or a meticulously outlined plan. It simply requires unwavering belief in the character and faithfulness of God. If you've ceased compulsively checking your phone for messages or scrolling through social media for fleeting signs, and instead have consciously redirected your focus towards cultivating your inner peace, your emotional well-being, and your spiritual health, that, my friend, is a true mark of spiritual maturity and growth. God can accomplish far more with your surrender. your humble relinquishment of control. Then with all your striving and anxious efforts combined, when you genuinely stop trying to force it, you create the perfect, unhindered space for a reunion to unfold naturally, organically, and with his unmistakable confirmation, rather than under the burdensome weight of your own control and manipulation. This demonstrates an incredible depth of trusting God's process, allowing him to weave his tapestry of divine timing reunion in his perfect way. The fifth and perhaps most transformative sign that God is meticulously working towards an unexpected relationship reunion is a profound shift in your heart. You've genuinely stopped wishing them harm or desiring that they suffer as you did. Romans 12:21 provides us with this powerful directive. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. It is a deeply human, almost primal, instinct to want someone who has caused you pain to experience a measure of that same suffering, to understand the depth of your hurt, to feel the sting of what they inflicted. But when God's gentle hand begins to soften the hardened edges of your heart, that potent desire to see them struggle, to witness their pain, mercifully begins to fade. You cease to crave revenge, and instead, a more compassionate, grace-filled desire emerges, a sincere wish for their own growth, their own healing, and their own well-being. This shift, this profound reorientation of your emotional landscape, is a powerful indicator that God is doing something truly new and transformative within you. This isn't about excusing their past actions, minimizing the hurt they caused, or condoning any injustice. It is, rather, a courageous and liberating choice to no longer be bound, enslaved, or defined by the heavy shackles of resentment. Bitterness, much like a parasitic vine, keeps you inextricably tied to what they did, to the past, consuming your energy and blocking your future. But forgiveness, true and profound forgiveness, even if it's just in your heart, and not yet a spoken declaration, sets you astonishingly free. When you no longer find any satisfaction or twisted joy in their struggles, when the news of their difficulties no longer elicits a grim sense of satisfaction, but perhaps even a pang of empathy, it means your heart is undergoing a profound purification process. This purification is not just for your immediate peace, it is divine preparation for something healthier, something more whole, perhaps even a future conversation or connection rooted in a new, healthier dynamic. God, in his perfect wisdom, understands that you cannot truly enter into a genuine, healthy reunion if your heart is still secretly harboring a desire to see them fail, to witness their downfall. True healing, genuine wholeness, is manifested when you can sincerely wish them well, genuinely pray for their blessings, even if the thought of ever reconnecting with them seems utterly impossible or never materializes. And here lies the profound irony. That very state of wholeness, that purity of heart, is often precisely what God uses to bring about authentic, miraculous restoration. You are no longer trapped, no longer stuck in the agonizing grip of past pain. You are actively walking in peace, guided by the Spirit, free from the desire for vengeance. When God observes you living out the powerful biblical principle of overcoming evil with good, he trusts you with a potential reconciliation that is founded upon pure love, profound grace, and spiritual maturity, rather than on ego, pride, or a need to prove something. Your heart, through this arduous yet beautiful process of divine healing restoration, is now in the right posture. And if, in his perfect and sovereign will, he chooses to bring that person back into your life, it will be because both of you have grown, both of you have undergone significant transformation, and not because one party needed to exact a toll or prove a point to the other. That is precisely how true restoration, a genuine and unexpected relationship reunion, truly begins, rooted in forgiveness, grace, and the transformative power of God's love. It is the culmination of letting go with peace, patiently trusting God's process, embracing spiritual growth in relationships, and allowing God to orchestrate divine healing restoration in both lives. The journey of faith is often one marked by unexpected turns, periods of deep silence, and moments where our human understanding falls tragically short of God's magnificent plan. We are called to trust, even when we cannot see, to believe, even when logic suggests otherwise, and to surrender, even when every fiber of our being yearns for control. The signs we've explored today: letting go without bitterness, receiving the divine call to patience, engaging in deep self-discovery, releasing the need to force outcomes, and the profound shift from wishing harm to wishing well, are not just indicators of a potential reunion. More fundamentally, they are reflections of a profound spiritual transformation happening within you. They are evidence of God's constant, unwavering love, His commitment to your healing, and His meticulous preparation of your heart for whatever He has planned, whether it's a restoration of a past connection or the ushering in of something entirely new and blessed. Remember, God's timing is perfect. It often unfolds in seasons of silence, in moments of quiet growth, and through processes that feel unseen. He is always working, always weaving the intricate threads of our lives into His beautiful tapestry. Your healing journey, your spiritual growth, and your unwavering trust in God's process are the very keys that unlock the potential for divine healing restoration in your life. Don't underestimate the power of letting go with peace, for it clears the path for God to move. Embrace patience in God's plan, understanding that His delays are not denials but divine appointments. Continue to lean into spiritual growth in relationships, knowing that a stronger you is a prerequisite for stronger, healthier connections. Keep trusting God's process, for His ways are always higher and more perfect than ours. And above all, keep overcoming bitterness with love, for a heart free of resentment is a heart ready for God's ultimate blessings, including an unexpected relationship reunion. If this message has resonated with your spirit, if it has illuminated a path of hope and understanding for what God may be doing behind the scenes in your life, I deeply encourage you to engage with this community. Please take a moment to like this video, share your reflections in the comments below. Which of these signs resonated most deeply with you, and why? Have you experienced God's timing reunion in unexpected ways in your own life? Your stories are powerful testaments to His faithfulness, and if you haven't already, subscribe to Pure Inspirational so you never miss a message designed specifically for your heart's journey. May you be profoundly blessed as you continue to walk in faith, trusting in the beautiful, unfolding plan of God.